And it started out, they had to get used to me, I had to get used to them. You know, you start out with a guy's locker maybe next to yours, you start out just saying maybe hi. Then you start out as time go on. He start noticing that you gain a few pounds. He start noticing that you might have, you may have lost a few pounds. And then you say, hey man, what kind of work you do? Then he offers his help on the kind of things he's done. And then he asks you, he say, hey man, what kind of work you do? Then I tell him what kind of it's individuals down there that from me telling them my history, they couldn't believe it because of the kind of individual that I am today, and that I stand before them. They would have never thought that I was this drug dealer on the street and committing these crimes because the way I carry myself today. And I had to practice that walk, but I had to visually see that I can be different and have fun. But you have to build new relationships in order to grow. Certain doors are not going to get open if you don't build new relationships.
About that, yeah.
You know, like I know, certain folks got the keys to open these doors. And if you stay inside the ghetto, inside your invisible walls, you would never see it.
That's right. True.
You would never feel it. And you would always think that, hey, white people hate me. Or the higher professionals hate me. They don't like me. They don't want to see me prosper. When in fact, the same individuals mostly that I go to today are white people. Not saying that my fellow brothers don't help me and you know and there for me, but the relationship, good relationships to me mean more than money today.
And cross color lines.
And cross color lines. Cross color lines. The president of M&T Bank. He wrote me a letter that I needed for a job.
Okay.
I wouldn't have never got that 20 years ago. He would have said, who are you? And here's your job history and where'd you come from? And I wouldn't know how to communicate if I didn't open that lines of communication open and if I didn't be around new, inspiring individuals. They help me. I help them. They get a kick out of the work that I do, giving back into the community. They think it's awesome, they think it's excellent, and they told me if in fact that they can support me in any way possible, they would. So that and all is an opportunity for individuals to say, hey, let me step outside my comfort zone and meet some new individuals. If in fact you are trying to stay free. I made it my last time. I made my mind up. I didn't have to go to NAIOP, even though these places help. Even with my support group, which is my Muslim brothers. I didn't have to go to them. I knew it was time for me. It's a certain time in your life that you know that it's time.
That's right.
I can't stand to be inside with 3,000 men walking around, man, with no women and no love in there. Not the kind of love I desire. They can love you, but not the kind of love I desire.
I hear you.
Real true love. And I gathered when I was in there, and brothers, even if you are incarcerated, if you happen to go in jail, learn something, read, get with some brothers that's tired of the jail, or even have something good to say when you walk in that track or something. Learn something, absorb as much as you can from the elders. I'm always was an individual, even in the life of crime. I always talk to the older guys. Now I'm in this with the good old boys. I talk to my mentors. I have financial mentors. I have my faith-based mentors. I have community mentors. I have just elders. You often talk about storytelling. I ask questions. I sit down and talk to these Black African men, white men, Chinese. I talk to them. I give them the time to they like sharing things with the youth, if in fact you would let them.
If you let them. You know, I had a wonderful opportunity to hear you speak at William Penn High School.
Yes, sir.
And we went into, I guess, I don't know if it was an ACTS program, but there's a program there. And both of us were brought in. And you got up and spoke first, and then
yes, sir.
You know I was supposed to get up and speak. I said, no, wait a minute. I asked the kids some questions because I was fascinated by what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
And how do you think the young folks who are really on the edge, the at-risk population they call them, how are they receiving you? Are they getting it?
Well, when I go to these different settings, it's almost like they don't want me to leave. And that's why I aspire to other individuals like myself who've been there, because you can touch them. No one knows the things that they go through.
Yeah.
And it's hurting my heart right now as I speak that I see some of these individuals and they can cling to you. But as I told them before, it doesn't take anything away from the professionals that's here with you today that had like your counselors and things of that nature. When I say that they can't relate, it's not downplaying. In other words, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that if individuals like myself is willing to step up, don't shun him, don't turn him down, because ultimately I'm helping myself too.
Yeah.
So if I want to come and share my story or my testimony with some youth and hoping that they don't take the same road that I took, let me share that with them, because I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to them. Period.
Yeah.
I repeat things to them that I want to aspire to do and that I want to keep doing.
All right.
And oftentimes when I'm in those places, just to answer your question, they don't want me to leave. Are you done? Brother Abdul, can't you just stay a little long? I'm hoarse, brother. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But they love the connection with somebody who they see me every day.
Yeah. You know, I saw you reading the book there, and I'm going to paraphrase the title, but it has something to do with the new
Jim Crow.
The new Jim Crow. And without going all into the book, but just break down a little bit about where that's going, because we're talking about, I hear so many people in our community say the new slavery system in this country is what?
Mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration. If brothers don't know it, you need to take heed. That is definitely the new Jim Crow. If you want to talk about slavery, you want to talk about working for 20 cents an hour, you want to talk about losing all your rights when you get incarcerated. You even want to talk about, see, you can do your time. The time ain't nothing. You can go and you can put a dude away 3, 4 years, 5, 6 years. That don't mean nothing to him, man. He going, he got 5, 6 friends in there, you know, he build his muscles up, you know, or he might be a great fighter. But the deal is when you get out.
Okay.
That's the hardest part. Now they got this prescriptive plan that you must follow for 5, 10, 15 years. And if you violate that prescriptive plan, you go to jail. So while you were incarcerated, ultimately your non-support was building up. So you owe back support. You're coming home, you're trying to build a relationship. Maybe the woman was there for you, or you're trying to build a new relationship. Can't find a job.
Yeah.
You're paying $25 a month to be on parole.
Okay.
Every application you look at, they got a black box down there. They say, check it if you ever been convicted of a felony or a crime. Within the last 5 or 10 or something, it's just blank. Check the box.
Yeah.
You got to check the box.
Just got to check it.
So that eliminates you from certain jobs. Now all these other pressures are on you. So now what do? You go pick that package up. You go pick the drugs up. Because why? You don't want to humble yourself and maybe work at McDonald's. You don't want to humble yourself and maybe work at Burger King. You don't want to humble yourself and get a minimum wage paying job when in fact you were working for 30 cents an hour or 18 cents an hour up in the prison and didn't complain about it.
Wow.
Couldn't wait to get out the cell to go to work. Before I came here, I went and got me a shot of that Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And yeah, me and Dunkin', we got a thing going on. But it was an individual in there. Of course, he was Muslim. He greeted me. I didn't know that he was Muslim, but he was working. Long story short, he's a guy not from our area, Philadelphia area. Came from being incarcerated.